Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners. Okay, we're ready to make our little angel's head, and the important part is the collar, and obviously the head, and the halo is going to be a little special surprise that pops out at the end. It really does. Anyway, so our head is sitting like this. Right now we're going to turn the collar, and one thing I want to keep in mind here is, you can see I have a little bit of a shoulder here. I don't want to turn the collar to where it goes all the way into this tenon. I want the collar to end to start peeking up right there. So over here, I'm going to leave myself about 1/4 of an inch here that I'm not going to turn. I might flatten it out, but then I'll sweep my collar up. Enough talking, let's get to turning. So I'm just going to use my bowl gouge here, and I'll do a pull cut to clean it up. So that's nice and flat. Now I just want to do is a little bitty pull here, and this is the up sweep on the collar. That looks pretty good. What I want to do is I'm going to stop this and just check it real quick and see if it looks about right. Ah, it does. It looks pretty good. I could probably take it just a little bit more in. I want it to look like it's all one piece. But it's not. I'm doing a little curve on the collar too. So the next step is I can start getting rid of some of this wood here, because that's where the head is, and the head's going to be a lot smaller than the collar. As a matter of fact, when I'm thinking about this, it's a pretty wide collar, so I might actually take that down in size too by coming across a bit. But it is a bigger piece of glass, so I got to keep that aesthetic in mind too. So anyway, we're going to establish the second part of the collar right here. There we go. So I'm going to whittle away at the wood here for a bit and start to expose the angel's head and get the collar a little more refined. And then I'll get into how we're going to make that neat little halo. Now working around the jaws is a little bit sketchy at times, so you want to be very careful. But I'm coming in as close as I can without hitting metal. And the bowl gouge is perfect for pushing straight in and removing that wood just by pushing in. But I want to make sure that the head is not too small, so I got to be careful I don't take too much wood off here. Just keep pushing in like so. And now to shape this, I'm going to grab my spindle gouge, and we're going to start rounding this edge a little bit. And so just a little bit of time, I'm making a bead, and it's going to be kind of an oval bead. I want the head to be kind of shorter than it is wide. I like that look. I don't know why. Okay, now right here, when you're doing this undercut, you want to bring the tip in and just do a slight pull. So I'm cutting with the edge of the tool. So I'm swinging my whole body while I do that to make that little bitty move. I want that to be a collar that sweeps up. So now it looks like we've got the head shape going. So I'm going to rotate that like so. And this is almost all I can do on the head right now from this position, because I've got the chuck in the way and the jaws in the way. But the cool thing is I'm going to put a real quick finish on this, turn it around, and now I'll show you how we get our magic halo out of our angel. Okay, now we've got the head turned around on the lathe, and I'm doing the expansion chuck again. I'm taking the jaws inside of that little recess we made. Now the thing we want to do is we want to make this halo. Well, where do we get the halo from? Well, the cool thing is down here, if you look, right here, that's the part, the tenon that we had in the chuck. That's what we're going to make the halo out of, and we're going to use a ring tool for that. It comes with little special cutters on it that are the shape of a ring. And so you're right on center with this, and you start pushing it in like so, and this is how you sneak up on your ring. So you do one side for a little while, then you can actually flip the tool over and do the other side. But this is how you make captive rings on those goblets and stuff. We've made those before. So we're going to make our halo this exact same way. So I'm going to work on this a little bit, get the shape the way I want it. We'll part it off, and then we'll finish shaping the head. Oh, Brian, we're getting close. It's getting loose. Ha! Whoa, there it goes. Let me get that. That came off quicker than I thought it would. Cool. Ow! Geez. So we got our halo. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I thought that would take a little bit longer, but hey, that's the magic of video. Okay, well, since we got that out of the way, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and finish shaping the head here, because now that's all exposed, and all we got to do is finish making a bead here, so that's pretty cool. So I'll just go ahead. It's still kind of like the orientation of a bowl blank, so I got end grain coming towards me, so I will take my bowl gouge to do some of these cuts here. And I want to do real light cuts because we're being held with that little tiny recess on the other end. So as I make my cuts, I'm pushing in. And then I'll probably do a pull cut. And you see that tiny little hole on the end? That hole does not go very deep. That's why I used a steb center. A steb center has a point in it that is on a spring. And so when you push it into wood, it'll go in, but then it springs back a little bit so it doesn't go so deep. So when you're trying to save wood, steb center is really good for that. And like I pointed out earlier, that live center the Robust makes, it is really good too, because the point in it, you just use a little Allen bolt and you loosen it, and that point can go in or out. So it can go in as deep as you want or as shallow as you want. Pretty cool deal. So there we're getting a nice shape on the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand this end on here and repeat my finish. And then we're going to be moving on to the fun part, the angel wings. Okay, now we're ready for the wings. And I want to show you these, pop them off the back. They're nice, but they're curved, you can see, so it dishes in so the wings come around the angel. I've seen wings that go back, but I think this is kind of cool when they come around the angel. Well, how do we do that? Well, we do it by this. I have a faceplate with a waste block of wood here. We use double-sided tape, and now we stuck our piece of wood on there. So the step I want to go to now is I just want to go ahead and take my bowl gouge and do a pull cut along here and just dish that out. Now this is really cool, this entire project. One reason I like using Thompson lathe tools is that they have really long edge life. And I have yet to sharpen one time in this entire project, which is a blessing because I don't like to sharpen. Now don't get too crazy here. I'm going about half the depth, and now I'm going to start pulling it out a bit. So my goal is to just make a nice dish shape. Now you can do a pull cut. If you do a push cut, it's nice, and it's quick, but you're going to wind up with a little bit of a jagged surface. So let's just say I do the push cut all the way through like this. The thing I want to do then, before I finish up, is to come back and do this pull cut again, just try to even the surface out. So once I have this exactly the way I want it, I'll make one pass along the edge right here and clean that up. And then we'll pop it off of here and start drawing this shape on there that we want to make the wings. Okay, now I'm just using my other wings as a template to show where I want to cut the wings out. So I have that shape, and the thing I was really careful about was I wanted to make sure I had the best grain pattern up in here. So that worked out pretty good. So anyway, it's just real simple. Since I went ahead and sanded this already, I don't want to scratch it, so I just have a paper towel down here. So we'll turn this on and start cutting this out. And once we're cut it out, then we'll go into a very fun, extensive sanding process. So just keep in mind, the cleaner the cut you make off the bandsaw, the less sanding you're going to have to do. Well, I haven't bored you with sanding yet because we got a lot of sanding to do now. I'm going to use my belt sander here to do bulk removal of the waste wood here, so we have a nice shape on the back and we get rid of all these pencil marks. And you can see this aggressively removes the wood, so you can start getting your shape in there. So once I have this roughly shaped the way I want it, we're going to go to the lathe to do a little bit more intricate sanding. Okay, now what I've done is I've mounted a 3-inch sanding disc in here, and I've got 180 on there. We're going to use it to refine the sanding we've done now, and my chuck jaws hold it beautifully, so it allows you to be more creative. This is a little bit more like, I don't know, carving with sandpaper. But then I can take out all of the rough edges, and I'll sand this down to about 400 grit, because that's what I did the front on. And so this will make it really nice and smooth on the back. Then once I have that done, I'll show you how we start assembling this thing. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm going to show you one more technique after this, because we haven't ever talked about how we managed to get a smooth surface on the halo. Okay, well, our halo prematurely came off the lathe, so I didn't get a chance to do a lot of work on it, but I still like it. That's a good finish. I'm going to be fine with that. But how do you get this center sanded on this? Well, I just have a little spindle here that I took some double stick tape and some sandpaper and wrapped it around it. So now I've made myself a great little inside sanding system. So I just roll it around there and I sand my halo. So it gets a nice smooth inside to it. So you can see it looks pretty good. So I'll just rub a little oil on this and this will be ready to assemble too. Okay, now we're ready for the assemblage. And here's the finished one here, right? So how do we hook all this stuff together? Well, we use some dowels and some little pieces of metal. So what I did is I went over to the drill press and I used a Forstner bit to drill a 1/4 inch hole in here. I did the same thing on my wings. And in full disclosure, see how narrow this is right here on the wood? I actually cracked that while I was sanding it and had to glue it back together. So be real careful when you're doing this. Leave a little more thickness in there so you won't run into the problem I did. So we'll hope this holds together and hope I can get it into this hole. So there it goes in. We've got it in there now. So we'll set it on top of there. And there's our little head. Well, how do we put our angel's, what do you call it? Halo on there. So I've got this thick craft wire I bought at Hobby Lobby. So it's up to you to figure out what you might need. But anyway, I want to put this in here, get an idea. Okay, push it and push and push and push and push and push. Curve that little sucker up there like so. So I'm thinking my halo should be about right in this neighborhood. I could be wrong, but you can always cut another piece of wire if you're wrong. Now, this is the dickens of a thing. I actually had to drill a hole then into the halo itself. You can barely see that. And of course, in my great drilling process, I went all the way through, so I'm hoping actually that this little piece of metal will kind of hide the hole in there. So I'm just going to wiggle that in there like so. So, okay, now we've got our halo. And so you can adjust it, do whatever you want with it, give it a little attitude. So we'll set that on there like so. But anyway, one other cool thing you can do to this is if you want to find some little craft lights, I'm still looking for some that'll fit. Check this out. You can actually light up the glass. I think that is really cool. And that is how you make a glass insulator Christmas angel. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time on Wood Turning, keep turning.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners.